Everyone, I'm Sam from Smart ICO Investor. Today we're going to talk about token metrics, and this is kind of a follow-on video to an article that I just wrote. You can find it posted below. It's just really my thoughts on what's been going on with Endor recently. So this isn't a singular issue as well too. There's been other ICOs which have been coming along and having interesting token mechanics, and from an investor perspective, it's not good. It's not good for you. It's hard to recommend projects even though they may have a good idea because the token metrics are all screwed up. So in this case, especially with Endor, it's such a money grab that it's hard to just let it go by. Like for other projects, it would be fine, but in this case, it was just too much. Now, what exactly am I talking about? Now, here's the one pager for Endor, which was I found yesterday, and let's go through the token economy. So the Endor token is an exclusive means of payment for services on Endor protocol. The token's utility will be its usage by the Endor coin's customers to pay for predictions. This is in turn used to fund system infrastructure and data acquisition. The EDR token will be ERC20 compliant or compatible, ensuring a high degree of security and integration with the ecosystem. So let's take a look. So their hard cap is 45 million. Now, they will be issuing 1.5 billion tokens, and that's all right so far. Okay, I can deal with that. But let's look at the breakdown of who's actually getting tokens. So 40% of tokens go to Endor coin long-term reserves for development ecosystems and partnerships. Okay, I understand that they need a backlog of tokens to be able to go out and give to partners to be able to develop the system and to grow. It's an important part, and there have been a lot of other ICOs which have done that. I would say it's quite high, right? They're essentially saying we want the well, let's come back to that. So the next three, right, are equally 20% each, and they go 20% for the team, 20% for the token private sale crowd sale, and then 20% for partners and advisors. And this is where I take a lot of umbrage in that the team, which doesn't have a project, well, they have a project, but they don't. It's just an idea. They don't have an MVP. There is no system out yet. It's not being used, and it's going to be 6 months to a year for this entire implementation of getting all of this. They get 20% of the tokens. I don't even know if there's vesting on these tokens at all. It's not said in this one pager, but they get 20% of the tokens for not even having put out a real product yet, without even giving out the vesting information. Then additionally, partners and advisors get 20% as well too, which is exactly the same amount as the token and private sales. So they're essentially paying for their high profile advisors, which they have on there. A lot of MIT people, a lot of very specific people in the space who they can put on their website and use them going forward. Additionally, I'm sure the partners takes into account the previous VC funds who came in the equity round and now want their cut. They come in for 10% of the equity. They obviously want 10% of the tokens to come back to them. I'm just taking a guess there. So if we split partners and advisors in half, that kind of gives a better understanding. So 10% to advisors, 10% to pay back initial partners, who would be the initial equity providers. Again, this is all just speculation on my half, but I would assume that this would be the way that it would be set up. Now, if we take, so all in all, right, we have 20% of tokens that are being sold, and then we have 80% of tokens which are retained essentially by the company, team, and advisors. And that's crazy. We have no idea about the vesting. We have, these could be unlocked day one, for all that we know so far. And what is to stop a founder from going out and just cashing his check dumping his tokens on the market, and then walking away with it. If the price stays the same as where the cap is, that's $45 million. Essentially, a team member could walk away with $20 million overnight by dumping half of what they own. Same thing for the partners and advisors. So, this is what really gets me, because in this case, I feel like as an investor that I'm getting fucked, to say the least. I'm not getting the better end of the stick. It's not a equity raise. They're essentially giving away 20%, or they're selling 20% of the network without having to give up any equity, without actually having to be having the rules or regulations that keeps them from screwing over their investors. And as BitConnect shows you, when a company goes bankrupt, there's no money that actually goes back to the token holders. Unlike a preferred share or a common share, tokens get nothing. There is no SEC regulations or anything that actually would provide any insurance or value back to any retail investors. So we don't know if this project is going to work. We have a group of people who come from a very well-recognized establishment in MIT, but they're creating a startup, and 50% of startups just fail outright in the first few years. A lot of these ICOs are raising a lot of money. We really haven't gotten to the bankruptcy phase and the winding down phase for a lot of these companies because their projects don't work out. But you're going to see in the next year or two, when these companies start running out of money, there's just tokens that are going to disappear overnight. The company will come, they'll shut down their website, and then boom, nothing left. As a token holder, it's a rush to get out the door, rush to move into Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then you're screwed if you don't get out. You lose 95% of what you own, just like the BitConnect people did. So you have to look at it like this, in that any actor who has access to these sort of token allocations is always going to act in their best interest. And that interest is going to be profit maximization at the cost of others. Now, this would mean that if there is no vesting for either the team or the partners or the advisors or even these long-term reserves, there's going to be extremely high inflation, which will affect investors like you, like me, extremely hard. Because if there's 20%, 30% inflation of the token supply every single year for the next 5 years, or even 2 years or 3 years, that's a lot of money to be lost, right? You don't get any more tokens once you go through the ICO, at least in this case. It's not a staking coin. There's no rewards for simply owning the token and providing to the network. All that's happening is that the team advisors get to fully dilute the market, take the amount of tokens, and they're just tokens. All they do is, again, let's come back to their token economy. The only thing these tokens do is pay for predictions. That's it. Now, I'm sure there's more that's built into the smart contract, but I'm really wary of projects where the token is just there so you can pay for shit. Cash works great. We have banks, we have existing systems. I know that one thing that the Endor people want to do is have unbiased predictions that are not generated by some algorithm. However, cash works, and we have systems, and we have these systems in place for a reason, because people get screwed all the time. And no matter that these guys are from MIT or Yale or Harvard or anywhere, you can always get screwed over. And there's a lot of very well-positioned companies which have come out with a lot of big name advisors in the past. Just look at the tech bubble, and these companies fail. They go under, and people lose money. And that's what you're trying to do here in ICO land in 2018. Is not lose money. You're trying to increase your Bitcoin and your Ethereum, and everything else is judged against that, because you have to set a standard for yourself. And so I'm digressing, but really, like, the important part here is that Endor's trying to do this big cash grab. They're essentially generating cash for themselves, because at a fully diluted market cap of $225 million, right? So that 45 million is just the hard cap during the sale. That only represents the 20% of the tokens sold. The other 80% would bring that 45 million all the way up to 225. So out the gate, $225 million project with no MVP, just an idea and nothing else. Now, let's take a look at some other projects like this. Like Augur has done quite big. Stocks has not done that well. There's been some other projects, and maybe these guys are pricing it exactly right, in that the total value of this project out the gate is around 225 million. However, then there's no alpha. There's no reason to actually get into this ICO. You're just going to get screwed over, because it would be better just to keep your money in Bitcoin or Ethereum rather than putting into this high hard cap, low distribution, money grabbing venture by the team, the partner, and the advisors. So again, do your own research. I really like what the Endor guys were doing. But up until tomorrow, I thought it was really cool. It's like a decentralized Google where you can get unbiased results and not have to depend on a major giant evil corporation to provide them for you. And also using this new thing called social physics. And I'm not here to comment on the tech. I'm here to comment on the structuring of the sale. So yeah, do your own research. It's a great project. Maybe it blows up. Maybe it doesn't. There's a really good article the other day about, would you have invested into Facebook's B round when it was valued at like $500 million? And at the time, MySpace had just gone under. Friendster had issues. There's a lot of issues in the space where the FUD on Facebook was quite high, so there was a lot of risk going into that investment. This one is even more, because they don't have a product. They don't have any consumer customers other than their commercial business. So again, if you like the project and you believe in the team, put some money into it, or buy the tokens once they hit a secondary, if and when they hit the secondary exchange. Other than that, do your own research and just be smart going forward. That's the only thing I have to look for. Again, I'm here to look out for you guys. These are just issues and comments that I have, and if you disagree, let me know. Leave a comment down below. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and if you want me to take a look at anything else, just leave a comment below and like this video and subscribe. I'm Sam from Smart ICO Investor, and we will see you again soon.